So, well, we are back with you guys to bring you what we think would be the strongest playing 11 this time. Rahul's favorite team, the Rajasthan Royals, this close to winning the title last year.
Yeah.
Came very close despite, as we kept saying, not having a sixth bowling option, having two less batting. Well, they seem to have fixed that problem, and I think that would make our job of making this playing 11 a lot easier, because I think of all the teams who came into last year's mini auction, you can say, I think Rajasthan were one of the most settled sides, and even the additions they've made are to kind of, add to the deficiency, or rather to remove those deficiencies. So I think it should be an easy enough job making. I remember the Kolkata one was a real headache.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of teams now, except for Rajasthan, because of that impact player rule, I believe that Rajasthan will only improve as a team, will be stronger than what they were last time around. Although they made it to the finals in the last season, eventually losing that final to Gujarat Titans. But they've got pretty good players in that lineup. If you see somebody like Josh Butler, perhaps the best batter
in white ball cricket right now.
White ball cricket, for some time. Although off late, you can say that he hasn't played too much of cricket. He may or may not be in that sort of a form what he was the last time around. They've got some good Indian talent, and then their bowlers, quality bowlers, world class bowlers. Just that, last time everybody thought that they were missing an all rounder. Maybe now with that impact player rule, maybe that void can be filled now.
Quite likely. So I think with them, let's start with the players who are most obvious. I mean,
most obvious, and I think their 11 is
pretty set in stone.
Now
really.
that you know that the impact player rule, what it has done is that every captain will now come up with the two
playing 11s,
playing 11s, and he has to submit those playing 11s after the toss, not before the toss, because they will decide which playing 11 to field. Depending on whether they won the toss or lost the toss.
Correct.
So I think pretty obvious, as we discussed, the only name that we have mentioned here for Rajasthan Royals, I think he comes up right at the top.
Has to.
Joss, the boss.
Exactly.
Joss Butler.
I think Yashasvi along with him.
Exactly, because last time they tried with Devdutt Padikkal also.
Yes, they
did. And then they didn't want to drop Devdutt Padikkal, so they dropped him down the batting order.
Correct.
And also Yashasvi Jaiswal, especially towards the end of that
the knockouts,
season, you would remember. And not to forget the kind of season he had, domestic season he had this year.
Correct.
He had an incredible season, with the bat, and I think Yashasvi Jaiswal will open with Joss Butler. So I think this will be your opening combination,
most likely.
Left and right also.
Yes. Then I think left and right, since we're talking, I think Sanju Samson, your skipper, and Devdutt Padikkal would be the next two options. Only logical. I think they'll send up one or the other depending on who's out to probably maintain the left right. And
fourth, you said Devdutt.
Yes, I think Devdutt fits in there pretty easily.
Padikkal is
Paddikal.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Devdutt Padikkal. Number 5,
Riyan Parag most likely,
or Shimron Hetmeyer.
Yes, Shimron, of course. How can I forget Shimron Hetmeyer?
Shimron Hetmeyer, last time.
Also a sure shot starter for me. Shimron Hetmeyer, Myer, and then I think Riyan Parag has to come in at 6.
Exactly.
Someone who the franchise definitely has a lot of hopes from. So Riyan Parag. Then
even I have
AG, no N.
Sorry.
Sorry. AG.
Yeah.
AG, Parag, A and G. So Riyan Parag, number 6.
I'm actually, hopeful. The franchisee has backed this guy, this young boy, right from, ever since he made his debut for Rajasthan Royals, and despite all the criticism around, they've stuck to, in fact, with Riyan Parag, and hopefully
now is the time.
Yeah, he's done pretty decent in
for
the domestic cricket also for Assam. Although it remains to be seen, because there's a huge difference between the kind of attack that you face and see in domestic cricket.
Correct.
And suddenly how it graduates or transforms into IPL, and then of course subsequently in the international level.
Absolutely.
Although, the good thing about Riyan Parag is that he's a confidence player, but that confidence has not reflected
yet
in his batting so far. I hope
it does this time
because this also is a very crucial area. Number 6. Remember, Simran Hetmeyer last time, he was one of the reasons why Rajasthan did so well.
Absolutely.
Towards the end, he would come and get those sixes pretty consistently. I think for a brief while he even went back home.
And both of his childhood.
Exactly. And that was a period where we thought that Rajasthan might struggle. So I think their batting lineup.
And number 7 now, Jason Holder. Has to be. Because he's the one who brings them that much needed balance. Now they can bat at least up till 7. In fact, considering 8 would be R. Ashwin. So they are batting till number 8 practically. Because remember last year Ashwin, they were having that nice experimental phase where they were playing him at number 3, 4.
And Shane, the good thing about this squad, this 11, to me at least, they still, when last time they picked their squad, when they, in the auctions, I thought their 11 was pretty simple. There, it was very evident that what their 11 would be. I think maybe 1 or 2 players here and there. And now for the other teams, for the rest of the 9 teams with that impact player rule, I think they will have to make some very important choices.
Correct.
And will have to get those decisions and choices right also. For Rajasthan Royals, it is very simple, irrespective of whether they are batting first or they are batting second. I think their 11, they are not going to fiddle too much with their 11. Just that they will have 2 impact players. Okay, if they are batting first, for example, they can replace Jaiswal with a bowler, or if they are batting second, they can replace a bowler with a batter. So they have a very simple choice to make, unlike many other teams
who would actually be looking to kind of play around.
They'll have to get the impact player spot on, not once, not twice, but all the time.
Correct.
Here, I think they will have 2 impact players, and so 11 plus 2.
Correct.
So I doubt if there will be too many changes in those 11 that Sanju Samson
will be handing out. Correct.
Exactly.
So actually then last 3 players also, as we say, select themselves. You have what, a UZ Chahal would be there. Probably not at 9, but we're picking bowlers.
Exactly.
UZ Chahal, then Trent Bolt. And I think your number 11 then would be based on what they were doing last year. Normally it would be Prasidh, but now it should be Kuldeep Sen.
I think Prasidh is not available.
He's not available this year. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it's Kuldeep Sen who's your number 11.
And he comes with a variety also. Trent Bolt is somebody who can swing the ball and can pitch it up and then move the ball. And Kuldeep Sen, what we've seen of him is he's that hit the deck hard kind of a bowler.
Not afraid to bowl in the death.
Exactly, not afraid to bowl in the death. And they also had a foreign fast bowler,
Obed
McCoy. So they have a few choices, and who the players who are not there in this 11 by the way. So
I mean, they have the likes of an Obed McCoy. You have Adam Zampa, who's not there. Don't forget, they picked him up for base price, picked up Joe Root at base price.
Yes.
So they have options. It's not like they don't have options. Even the likes of a KC Karyappa add something.
Exactly.
There's a Navdeep Saini who, if fit, can be a very dangerous bowler.
Exactly. And Navdeep Saini, you never know. Maybe, see, if for impact player, you cannot have a foreign player unless you have fielded only three foreign players in your 11 initially.
Correct.
So it would be difficult to get a Joe Root or an Adam Zampa into the 11 or as an impact player. But Navdeep Saini, who's played for India, I think just off late maybe he's gotten a little off track.
Correct.
But hopefully
Fitness
this season
issues.
we've seen in the past how IPL can get a player back on track, not just in the IPL but for an India selection also. Navdeep Saini might just come back. Then they have KM Asif. Who's now been picked. He was not there in the initial squad. In fact, Rajasthan Royals, what they did in close to Nagpur, they had a camp, quite I think 15 odd days they had for a week or 10-15 days they had a camp there. They asked, in fact they called a lot of net bowlers. They tried out a lot of bowlers and eventually they zeroed in on KM Asif.
Correct.
Also because he's played quality cricket, KM Asif. So KM Asif is another bowler. Maybe I don't know what he's been doing there. But KM Asif, yeah,
Could
he
be a very interesting choice.
Their 11 looks pretty sorted, and as I said earlier, also, it's unlikely that Sanju Samson will come up with
too many changes.
In the 2-11 or the 2 playing 11s that he's going to hand out to the opposing.
Absolutely.
captain.
I think their team looks settled in that regard. So maybe just a couple of changes here or there, as we say. You'd see someone like a KM Asif. Obviously, if you're looking at Indian players, KM Asif, Akarayappa, someone like a Murugan Ashwin might be a good choice for if you're going to a place like say Chepauk. Could do much worse than having 3 full-time spinners.
Exactly.
So they don't actually need to make too many changes.
Yeah. And these are world-class players. They may not have too many players in the reserves like the last time also. Too many big names.
Correct.
In the reserves. But if you look at this lineup, Joss Butler, as we said, one of the best in the business at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yashasvi Jaiswal, up-and-coming cricketer, is done incredibly well this season at home. Sanju Samson, well, we know his potential, just that he has to be a little more consistent, which he has been, at least in IPL. Then you have Devdutt Padikkal, another youngster. Last time, I think
underwhelmed retired,
exactly,
but we know his potential.
Exactly, and he himself would want to do better now.
Absolutely.
Because he's still young, and one bad season can get you off track. Maybe this is the season that he would want to improve, and also it may not be a bad thing for Devdutt Padikkal to play at number 4, because anybody, any youngster who's playing in the IPL, of course the aspirations are to play
for the national team.
So now you have Shubman Gill there, you have the likes of Ishan Kishan, Shubman Gill, maybe a Prithvi Shaw. At least he was included in the squad. So if Devdutt Padikkal does not make it as an opener in the Indian team, you never know, a middle order batsman.
And India doesn't really have a left-handed middle order batsman.
Exactly, and also you are also looking at a transition. So I'm just saying that for Devdutt Padikkal, it's not a bad thing to assume and see your future also.
Absolutely.
As to what you can do and what your role could be in times to come. So number 4 for Devdutt Padikkal may not be a bad option. Hetmeyer, we know what he can do. Riyan Parag, I think he has to do something this season, because
he's been backed to the hilt by team management.
And there are many good players who couldn't make it to the 11 just because of this number 6 spot for Riyan Parag. Hopefully this might be his season, and I'm actually hoping for that. Jason Holder
again brings that balance
exactly
at long last.
He is the one, because they had Jimmy Neesham, they even tried Daryl Mitchell also.
They tried everyone in that role, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, so at least Jason Holder, the good thing about him is, see, for a Jimmy Neesham, I thought that he was somebody who could bat a bit, who could bowl a bit.
Yeah, but Jason Holder is the exact opposite. He can do both roles very well.
Exactly. At least one aspect, that is bowling. You can expect 4 overs from him.
Correct.
And then, of course, he's a
batting fireworks down the order.
And the tall guy standing at long on or long off.
Exactly.
Ravi Ashwin, once again,
the spin twins, Ashwin Chahal, they will put on the squeeze, I think, in the middle overs.
And the good thing about this combination last time was also that, as you said, they were
hunting as a pair.
Exactly, hunting as a pair, and also they could check and stop the run flow. And from the other end, Yuzi Chahal can pick wickets
at will.
Trent Bolt, one fiery opening spell and
changes the game.
Exactly, and match could just be over in a few
Kuldeep
overs.
Sen, now they're probably the number 1 Indian pace bowler.
Exactly. So, and for that's why we could have made 2 playing 11s for Rajasthan Royals, but I think more often than not, what you are going to see is this 11 plus 2
Indian players. That's it.
Impact players.
The impact players, yes.
For Rajasthan Royals, and those impact players, by the way, they've invested quite a lot on these Indian players. So I think you will see a few surprises, a few names that Rajasthan Royals will unveil or unleash this season.
Absolutely.
So I think, as I said, more often than not, this will be your 11, and they will have 2 impact players.
Absolutely.
For Dhruv Jayal, another batsman.
Yes.
Then they had Kunal Singh Rathore. Yashasvi Jaiswal is already there. Joe Root.
They have all-rounders as well. Someone like Abdul Basit,
Yeah.
Could really slot in if they want to add depth to both batting and bowling. You don't really know. There's plenty of options there for them.
Akash Vashisht is another pretty good
prospect
that they have. And Navdeep Saini, we know who he is. Murugan Ashwin tried and tested.
Yeah.
Now I think you can call, I don't know if you can call him an IPL veteran.
He definitely is. I think he's been playing for about 7-8 years at least.
KC Karyappa, another good Indian asset for the team. KM Asif once again makes a comeback and can have an impact in this. So this is Rajasthan Royals, last year's runner-up,
Yes.
and the champions of the inaugural season.
2008.
Exactly. I remember last time when they were playing, when they made it to the knockouts, I think the buzz was they wanted to win that
For Vaughan, yes.
Shane Vaughan,
Yes.
their captain and coach in the inaugural season.
The first Royal, yes.
The first Royal, in fact, yeah.
So that's it from us. This is what we think, by the way, is the strongest Rajasthan playing 11 plus 2 impact players. I think one advantage Rajasthan have had such a settled look to the 11. One major change, and their impact players will also be
clarity.
sorted. Yes,
you
it
don't
does.
have to think much. You don't have to do. But for a season like this, especially in IPL, now you have 10 teams, more games. You will have to rotate players.
Absolutely.
So you need to have that's the only.
And don't forget, this year you're returning to home in a way, so you're going to encounter different conditions.
Yes. And Shane, this is the only worry that I've always had with Rajasthan, that when we talk about other franchisees, they have some good players in the reserves. The only problem with Rajasthan is because it's a longish tournament, long season, so you need to rotate your players. You need to avoid you need to manage the workload of these players so that they don't get injured midway through the season. Because one player, you just get one player out of this
and the balance is gone.
Exactly. So it's the balance will be affected.
Absolutely. So that's it from us. This is what we think Rajasthan's strongest squad. You can let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree, what changes you'd make. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell icon, and stay tuned to Sports Today for more such videos and plenty more through the IPL. Bye-bye.